So it's Vlogmas Day 8. How's everyone doing? We've made it a week and a day now. So I actually I had today off. I'm gonna have a couple other days. And so I'm trying to catch up on things like housework and writing and reading. I am up to 47 books now, which I know there are people that read several in a month. And, one day that's going to be me. But, unfortunately right now I only have so much time. But, the people that have reached 1 to almost 300 books, that is fantastic, and it's great, to see people loving books, so much, and just hearing, people's opinions on books, and, just knowing what's out there, and, what people think, and just, exchanging ideas about books and stories and poetry and all that. I think it's been a pretty decent reading year for me. I've only had a couple of disappointments. But yeah, like I said, it's been a pretty good reading year. So today has been more eventful than it normally has been lately for me, but still quite uneventful. I drank my coffee, I went over some of my writing, and I watched YouTube, and I finished an audiobook. I'm reading it or listening to another audiobook. So it's mainly been a just doing whatever and reading day, which it's nice to have one of those every so often and just kind of unwind from all the heavy stuff. I was looking at my Google Docs and, just my writing in general. And it's kind of really disappointing that I failed NaNoWriMo because I have come to realize that if I were to convert all of my abandoned projects, all, of the starts and then the changes, I have pretty much written a novel by now. There are things that I've reached, a few thousand words, and then another project that got up to at least a couple thousand words. And if you were to add it all together, I've written probably 50,000 or more words, which is good in one way because obviously I have dedicated time to writing, but it's bad because I've only gotten so far. Like, I've written so much, but I have no end results, nothing to show for it. And I think it's, that my judgment of myself and everything, and there's so many different opinions about writing. And I'm not talking about grammar and punctuation and the common sense stuff that obviously should be pointed out, but there's and some people might say one is more professional writing and one is this or one is that, but a lot of it does come down to opinion, because you hear something on one end and a whole another thing on the other end, right? People will talk about realistic characters and dialogue and this and that, and some will say that this type of character is not believable, how this person writes it. But then you try to make it more realistic, and well, you're not supposed to do that in books. People don't read like that and everything. So it's like facts mixed with opinions, right? And sometimes I think people just, and not many of them, I'm lucky enough not to, to run in that too much, but sometimes it feels like people just want to criticize just because they can. And again, I'm not talking about people who point out, the wrong usage of words, or, give you advice on formatting or anything. I'm talking about people who pick out the tiniest things. The tiniest things. And then you would just start looking at other things, and it's like, well, my writing's not like this, but you also want to kind of break the mold a little bit, break out of those trends. And there's nothing wrong with writing something that is trendy if you can make it original and everything. But it's like, there's like a million vampire stories, you want to try and do something else. But then you're looking and you're like, well, maybe this particular story just, maybe my world building doesn't make sense and stuff like that, but it's your world, right? You have to figure out a way to write it to make sense. You can't just abandon it because it's a new idea. This is your writing, nobody else's. And I think, I really, really need to just pick a project, stick with my characters, and write what I want to write. Anyways, that is Vlogmas Day 8. Thanks for watching.